Bhaktya yuktyo yoga bhalena chaiva bhruvor madhye pranam avesya samyak satam param purusham upaiti divyam. One who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yat aksharam veda vido vadanti visanti yat yatayo vitaragaha yat icchanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravaksye. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Sarvadvarani samyamya manohrudi nirudhya cha buddhyani adhyatmanaha pranam astrito yoga dharanam. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharam mam anusmaran yah prayati tyajan deham sa yati paramam gatim. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the supreme personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Ananya chetaha satatam yo mam स्मरति नित्यसः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
Thank you much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. So, chapter 8, text 10 to text 14, we just went through. So, I'll just summarize basically the gist of it, right? So, what we are reading here is it's basically boils down to remembering Krishna at the time of death and throughout our lives. Like, that famous saying of Prabhupada, death is the examination, life is the preparation for that examination. The examination is remembering Krishna. So here in text 10, it is being stated that one who at the time of death fixes life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with undeviated mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? And few verses back, Krishna also says that yam yam vapi smaran bhavan tyajate ante kalevaram. So whatever you think at the time of death is what you attain thereafter. So if one is not able to focus one's life air between the eyebrows and all the wonderful things that yogis can do, does anybody has hope? The answer is yes, because Krishna is extremely kind. But the point is to remember Krishna. So Krishna goes through the technicalities, and then at the end he summarizes in text 14, as we see, that it is about remembering Krishna. That's the important part. So before also Krishna says yam yam vapi smaran bhavan, and in text 14 also he's reiterating, for one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O Pritha, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Now again, this topic has come up before, that constant engagement is like you're always thinking Krishna, 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 Krishna. And it's not like that. It's like the background music of our life is Krishna conscious. And on that background music, we are doing whatever activities we are doing. One time, one devotee was in my car. This was back in Chicago. And he would every time I got in the car, there was a Hare Krishna kirtan playing, and he made that comment. It's like devotees have a background music of Hare Krishna always going on, right? It's like the background music of your life. I'm like, oh, that's a great way to put it. Because it is really, that's what it is. So always remembering Krishna is not a crazy idea of just constantly chanting or being in a cave or whatnot. It is having the Krishna conscious foundation on which everything else goes. For example, a mother, for her, everything is on the foundation of the child's upkeep and safekeeping, right? She's cooking with the idea this should nourish my child's health. She is buying things with the idea, oh, this will be handy to be a better mother, etc. Right? It'll keep my child warm. So, lovers. There's also when you fall in love with somebody, or when you rise in love with somebody, there is that idea, right, where people are always thinking the ice cream. Oh, let me take a picture and share it with my lover. Oh, this movie. Let me talk about this movie with my lover. So there's always that sharing mood. So it's not like you're always thinking. You're doing your work. You're also doing your duties and whatnot. But somehow everything connects with that beloved, with that person. And that's what Krishna means in chapter 8, text 14, where he says, one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Now, this is a very important statement to understand. Because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So, when all activities are devotional service, one does everything with that mood that this is a devotional activity, whether it's coding software, whether it's driving a car, whether it's having a child, whether it's going to the doctor to get your body fixed. Everything can have that underlying principle that this will help me serve Krishna better. This will allow me to do my services better. So the mindset for a materialist and a devotional person is different, but the activity is similar, like we mentioned last week as well, right? So the activity might look like a mundane activity. Somebody's doing grocery shopping. For a normal person of the world, grocery shopping, it's about the tongue. What would I like to eat? For a devotee, it's about offering. It's like, what would Krishna like to eat? What can I offer to Krishna in Bhoga? What can I cook for him that would please him? And thereby we eat certain things, we don't eat certain things, right? We drink certain things, we don't drink certain things. Because the idea is this will be offered to Krishna. So even in the grocery shopping activity, it's a devotional activity. It is non-different from somebody ringing the bell on the altar or somebody offering a garland to the Lord, So that's the idea here. So that's how. So devotional activities, when the life becomes devotional activity, then there is empowerment from Krishna, because you're working for Krishna. You're not working for a boss. You're not working for a family. You're not working for somebody out there. You're working for Krishna. So the empowerment comes from Krishna. The other part is you are focused on giving your 100%, because this is for a higher purpose. This is for bhakti. So automatically the results are a little bit better, because it's not just a work that is like, karna hai, let's do it. It's actually activity that is coming from love and devotion. So it has a lot more to it. Like if you taste prasad versus if you taste normal food, commercially made at a restaurant, there is a subtle difference between the two. Both might taste very good, but there is a difference in prasad where it has a feel-good factor, given it is cooked with love for Krishna by somebody who is devotionally inclined, right? So the consciousness of the person cooking it impacts the prasad, and of course, when Krishna accepts it, then it even becomes more purer, and it has that potency that one can experience as one accepts prasadam. So similarly, that's true with everything. Right? So it's a devotional consciousness. Have I lost you guys, or are you with me? I know there are some new people joining today. Any questions so far? Anything where you feel like, I don't know, I just lost track of that? All good? If you feel shy to speak up, you can always type in the chat section. Same, Rasana Prabhu. Happy to see you as well, and congratulations on your initiation. All right. So one who always remembers me without deviation. Who would be such a great example? Can anybody name somebody who is known for always remembering Krishna Some example that from our scriptures, from Srimad Bhagavatam, or from our modern day. Do you know anybody who is known for remembering Krishna?
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada, very nice. Okay. Who else?
Narad Muni.
Narad Muni, all right.
Radharani.
Of course.
Kunti Maharaj.
Kunti Maharani, okay.
Draupadi.
Okay.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj, yes. So, of all these names,
would Kamsa be applicable here?
yes, Kamsa is applicable, but in a negative light. He would always remember Krishna, but in a negative way. Yes. So that's a very important point, actually. So many people can remember Krishna out of hatred, like Richard Dawkins, people like that. They hate God and they're talking about God all day long. But that's a little different mood and mindset versus a devotee who's wanting to be following in the footsteps of devotional principles. Now, Prahlad Maharaj, I'll speak up because he is, so there are certain, persons for each stage of bhakti, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, right? So Smaranam, or remembering Krishna, is given to Prahlad Maharaj because he was always remembering Krishna. It's the first case of child abuse in the history of mankind, right? But his father wanted to kill him. And he was so absorbed in Krishna consciousness that he never even felt the need to protect himself or pray for his protection or be fearful. He just kept on glorifying the Lord. He would tell his friends to glorify the Lord. He was always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. When they put him in a pit of snakes, he was like, oh, snakes, they're related to Anantasesh. They're like my uncles. They put him under, threw him from a mountain. They're like, oh, Govardhan. So whatever he looked at, it would always remind him of Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj is a great example to emulate, who was from an early age of 5 years, he was always in Krishna consciousness, and that's what protected him. In fact, he never even realized what was, all the things his father was doing to him. To the point, his father got very upset. Hiranyakashipu got very upset. It's like, hey, I'm trying to kill you in so many ways, torture you, scare you. Everybody's scared of me, including the demigods, but you don't seem to even notice. Like, that's the worst thing you can do to an enemy. They try to, do all kinds of negative things to you, and you don't even notice, or you just laugh it away, or for you, doesn't even matter, right? That's very, very hurtful to the person who's dedicated in destroying your life, right? So Prahlad was doing exactly that. He was not even bothered about the negative aspect. He was focused on remembering Krishna. So that's an important principle to have in a Krishna conscious life. There's a lot of negativity. There's COVID and there is this and that. I was giving a Bhagavatam class in Ottawa, Canada. Some of you were there. And Mother Lakshmani was very rightly saying, she's like, Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe. If Krishna wants to kill me, no one can protect me. And Krishna wants to protect me, no one can kill me. So rather than focusing and being scared about Corona, being scared about terrorism, being scared about China attacking or Kashmir or whatever else, right, that's going on in the world, it'll all go on. It's Kali Yuga. It's supposed to be the time of quarrel. It is supposed to be the time of, people, being unsafe from even their own government. Srimad Bhagavatam states that. But for those of us who are in Krishna consciousness, we know the secret of living through that time period. And that is focus on Krishna, and Maya will automatically leave, right? Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andhakar. Jaha Krishna, Tahane Maya Adhikar. So Krishna is like the sun, sunlight, and Maya is like darkness. You turn on the light, darkness goes away. So rather than focusing on how terrible difficulties can be, we focus on how wonderful and powerful Krishna is. Thereby, we step over those difficulties and move on. That's Krishna consciousness. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj showed us, that he was not even bothered by all the atrocities going on with him. He was simply worried about his relationship with the Supreme Lord. And when it came to showcasing it, his father said, hey, can you show me God? He's like, sure, he's everywhere. Is he in that pillar? Yeah. And there comes Adarshika Dev, destroys him, right? So, amazing example. And it's a really faith builder for us to know that that kind of protection is available for us. Because when Prahlad Maharaj was asked by Narasimhadev, what do you want? Prahlad Maharaj didn't want anything for himself. He wanted for us to get benefit. It's like, I'm born of a demon, my dear Lord Narasimhadev. Please don't elude me for any material benediction. But those who are struggling in this material world, for them, I want your blessings, right? So just like Narasimhadev protected him, he wanted him to protect us. And because he asked for it, Narasimhadev said, okay, fine. Whoever becomes a pure devotee will get 21 generations above and below liberated, right? So if you become a devotee, 7 generations above and below. If you become a pure devotee, Shuddha Bhakta, then 21 generations above and below, right? Liberated just because they are related to you. Quite an amazing benediction. Thanks to Prahlad Maharaj. Narasimhadev has, already given that to us. So, now going back to the purport. This verse especially describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yoga. The word unalloyed is important because in the translation also Krishna says, without deviation. One who remembers me without deviation. That means, okay, Saturdays and Sundays, Krishna. Monday, Lord Shiva. Tuesday, Kali. etc., right? People have their pockets, their worship pockets and demigods and whatnot. But here, Krishna is saying undeviated. Krishna is kind of obsessive about his devotees. He's like, hey, exclusive me. Ananyas chintayantu mam. Ananyas chintayantu. No, nobody else, just me. Focus on me. I'll take care of everything, but you got to focus on me, right? The Vrajvasis wanted to worship Indra. Krishna said, no, focus on me. Focus on Govardhan. He lifted the Govardhan hill, made sure everybody is safe, proving that, hey, you focus on me, I'll take care of you. You won't even notice the atrocities happening outside, right? Indra was sending all the Samvartika clouds and everything else to destroy Vrindavan. The devotees of Krishna, they didn't even notice that was happening. They were just enjoying Krishna's presence, eye to eye, face to face. They were like with their beloved all day for 7 days. Fantastic. They were like, when will we get this opportunity? This is so awesome. 24 hours, we are with Krishna. Because the gopis get Krishna only at night. The gopas get Krishna only during the day. This is the only 7 days that they got Krishna for 7 days, constantly. They didn't even want to blink. Krishna's there. They didn't even notice that outside there is like all this rain happening and Sudarshan is going around, drying it all up, and Govardhan is taking all the thunder blasts. They're like, hey, we are with Krishna. They're not even, they're completely shielded from all that. Like protection. That is real protection. That we can be in Kali Yuga and be completely protected from all the impacts of Kali Yuga, right? So that's the idea of Krishna consciousness. That doesn't mean problems won't happen. Problems will happen. But as long as our focus, our remedy is Krishna conscious, that means instead of going towards a problem, we go towards Krishna, right? We think of course, we take care of the problem. We take practical steps to do whatever is needed. But the thought is dependence on Krishna's empowerment, him giving us intelligence to come up to the remedy, talk to the right people, connect us with the right resources so that we can fix the problem, right? Does it make sense? Can anybody give me a case study where they have done this and it worked for them? Anybody tried this? Vibhuti Mataji, would you like to share?
I was just thinking that you are going to take my...
Your super soul and my super soul talk to each other. So I know, I can hear it.
I feel Krishna so many times near me, Prabhuji, there are so many examples I would like to cite, but before citing the example, I will tell you, I have one mind which is always giving me the panic attacks in spite of me knowing that Krishna is around. He's not going to do anything bad. And he's giving me signals. I'll give you example. I was running with fever and was COVID positive. And after that, after 7 or 8 days, my husband also became COVID positive. Because of his comorbidities, I'm very scared if he's even a little ill. But God has given me COVID first, so I know the symptoms. When he's quarantined, and each and every symptom he was having was exactly similar to mine, which was exactly out of danger and nothing to worry. So, and Krishna was telling me, I'm there, don't worry, it is only 3 days of fever. He was continuously with me, but he was telling me, but instead of being him with me, giving me all the courage, doctors supporting and everything, but I had a major panic attack. I don't know. Krishna also said that I'm helpless if you cannot have full faith in me. But I had a major panic attack 3-4 days back. So I wanted to ask you after at the end of the class. So how to handle this? And suddenly you asked me the question. So
Give me a call.
okay.
When you go through something like that, just give me a call and tell me it's urgent, and I'll drop whatever I'm doing and I'll call you.
Okay. But I think, is it a disease or something that
It's not. See, we are all very new, right? To having faith in Krishna. We are used to having faith in Maya, the material system, our own mind, our intelligence, our bank account. That's where our faith is. We are slowly moving our faith to Krishna. And we're not sure if he will actually do what is required. Intellectually, we have read it, but heart-wise, it might not be 100% there. So yes, there might be moments of panic attack, and that's why it's important that we talk to somebody, and share it. And thereby, through that disciplic succession, connection with the disciplic succession, Krishna empowers us. When I go through such situations, I go through that. I call my mentor and like, please help me, right? And it's there, just 1 minute of conversation, and like, everything falls in place, and I could think clearly, and I can decide clearly and move forward.
Okay. Thank you.
That's my role in your life. So when things like that happen, don't get to the point of panic attack. Before that, when you see the red flags, just give me a call, and we'll settle it.
Okay.
Not saying I'll have all the answers to your problems, not saying it, but it'll at least relieve you from thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because, something.
God gives me signal that nothing is going to happen, and the signals are so clear, but still, and telling me this, that you are telling me that we do not have that much faith as we should be because we are beginners, but I do have faith. And all.
But you know what the problem is? Your worst enemy is inside you.
Yes.
So the worst enemy is constantly poking you.
Yes.
In the wrong direction. So even you won't have faith, but your mind is the worst enemy, and it's like, oh, what if?
Yes, exactly.
That's why we need somebody outside the mind to tell us it's all right. Krishna is there. We'll pray. Krishna will do what is best for you. Have faith, etc. Even though we know it, but somebody telling us calms us down.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, Shaikat has a question, very long one. But I have a different question. Krishna is controller of everything. I practice Mahamantra Jap, but when I try to practice the philosophy like visualization, auto-suggestion from the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, sometimes I feel I am the controller of my own universe, controller of everything, and also able to practice those philosophy. But most of the time, I feel I'm nothing to do with philosophy of the book. Krishna will do everything. Sometimes it leads to laziness, how to practice the philosophy from the book while practicing Bhakti Yoga. So, Think and Grow Rich is a wonderful book, but Think and Grow Rich is a theistic book also. It does talk about higher power. We are not the controller of everything. Try not going to the bathroom for a day and you'll understand. We can't control even our own body, what to speak of the universe. Krishna is the controller. So let's get that cleared out, right? That shouldn't be a question. Krishna is the controller. We are not the controller. Now, when it comes to visualization and things like that, sure, these are great tools that one can use to to attain the destination they're looking for. Whatever you're absorbed in, that's what, if it is in your karma, you will get to that point. It's Vedic science as well, just like Krishna consciousness. Why Krishna consciousness? Why offer food to Krishna's picture and do all the things chanting his name and whatnot? It is also a form of visualization. It's also a form of law of attraction, where we are attracting Krishna's attention and attracting a heart to Krishna. So it's not mutually exclusive. But the point is, when you become lazy, Krishna will do everything. That's the problem. Now, Krishna is not our servant. Krishna is not our waiter. He will enable us, but he won't do it for us. He could have fought the battle of Kurukshetra and just ended it all. In fact, he told Arjun, hey, you know what? They're all dead. It's won. Just do your part, take the credit. If you don't, somebody else will, right? So that's Krishna. But he wants us to take the credit. He wants us to do our part. And thereby, he gives us the credit, where although it's him who's doing it. That's the idea. Does it make sense, Shekhar?
उसने बोला पीछे से खराब है. उसने बोला कल सुबह
Okay, Shekhar. Do you have a follow-up, Shekhar, on that? Okay. Akshat, just one second. Let me just make sure Shekhar is fine with the answer, and then I'll move to you. Okay. All right. Yeah, I have a lot of anxiety. Okay, what's your question, Akshat? Now, there could be anxiety from two sources. One could be clinical, and the other could be like circumstantial. If it is clinical, talk to a psychologist, because it might need professional help, and I'm not a professional. Let me be very clear about that. But if it is about circumstantial aspects, then let's have a talk, let's have a conversation. You can ask Sarvana to schedule a 15-minute time, and I can talk to you, whatever you're going through, and we can come up with practical solutions backed by devotional consciousness. Right? Many of you have done that already with me. You call me and we talk about your practical problems, things that give you anxiety, and then we come up with devotional solutions for it. All right. Does it help, Akshat? We can talk about it, whatever it is. Okay. Rasan Prabhu, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Nice to see you after a long time.
Long time.
And, yeah, very long time. So I was just thinking, you mentioned the Govardhan Leela and the kind of situations we are going through right now, the pandemic, the first wave, second wave, third wave, and Krishna knows how many more waves. So I was just thinking that, this Govardhan Leela was kind of the world's first lockdown when, everything was shut down and everybody came and just saw Krishna. And I would say, I was just correlating that this whole pandemic situation is more or less like a roof, like Govardhan, which lifted by Krishna, created by Krishna, for every one of us to get together and hear Krishna Katha and practice Krishna consciousness, grow in Krishna consciousness, share Krishna consciousness. And, many of us have had experience during this pandemic, our preaching, the outreach of devotional service has gone many-fold higher, 10 times, 20 times. So I would say that this is a big opportunity for us to know Krishna and to know how great he is, how beautiful he is. So
that's a very devotional way of looking at it. Many lives were also lost. We lost a lot of devotees as well. So yeah, I mean, it's like making the best of a bad situation, like Prabhupada would say, making the best of a bad bargain. Those of us are alive, fortunate. We're trying to make the most of it. But yet, I wish it was like everybody would come under the same roof and be like Govardhan. But this is Kali Yuga. So few fortunate souls come together, and that's the best we can hope for. But yeah, sure. That's a nice way to look at things. Thank you for sharing. Okay, anybody else has anything to say?
Vijay, I had a question.
Yes, Brad.
So there are people who worship different demigods, and I want different demigods have different area of operation, right? Like Ganesh, do business Ganeshji, and so and I have seen people who are like completely dedicated to one demigod, right? And like let's say Marwaris are like they are into Ganesha and all. And my question to you is like, when they are worshipping one demigod and they are asking as a business transaction to the demigod to do something for them, to facilitate something for them, which if it's not in their area, what happens then?
I don't know. I'm not a demigod. But generally speaking, that's a good question, actually. So if you basically you're saying if you go to Ganesh and ask for health, right? See, end of the day, super soul is within the heart. And as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that even if you worship demigods indirectly, they have no power to do anything unless I allow it to happen. So super soul within the heart knows what is your desire, what you're looking for. So you might be asking a demigod for certain things, and that might not be his or her jurisdiction, but that's okay. Krishna will make it happen if it is in your karma, and if you're sincere, Krishna might make it happen through some other demigod, and that's how it is. But the point is, end of the day, Krishna is the one who's here. He's the one hearing it as Paramatma within the heart. Like Vibhuti Mati was about to ask a question. Krishna was within the heart. He said, hey, maybe it's Vibhuti who wants to talk. So I just said Mataji, and she was like, oh, I was about to talk, right? So this actually happens. So super soul is the one who is within the heart of the demigod, who's within the heart of the person praying. And Krishna is like, oh, wrong connection. Let me connect you with the right person. And they'll take care of whatever you need, right? And it gets done. So Krishna is taking care of everything for us, whether we worship demigods or we are atheists or whatever it is. As Paramatma, neutrally, he's taking care of things. If it's in your karma, you get it. If it's not in your karma, you don't get it. When we become devotees, he must no more neutral. Whether it's in your karma or not, Krishna is like, you're in my jurisdiction. You're no more in karmic jurisdiction. So I will make sure whatever is best for you, that manifests itself, regardless of your karmic conditions. Does it make sense, Prayash?
Yeah, it makes sense now. So basically, like, if somebody asks something to demigods, even if they cannot facilitate it, Krishna will take care of it. If
Krishna is the one doing it. Demigods
okay.
are just there in the position, right? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Suhridam. So Krishna is the lord of every planet, a lord of all the demigods. He is the one manifesting it. Hey, you get this done and you get this done. But sometimes it's coming directly to him through his devotees. Sometimes it comes through the demigods. But regardless, Krishna is the one empowering the demigods to do whatever they can do. So it's always Krishna. It's just sometimes it's direct, sometimes it's indirect. For us, it's direct. And Krishna prefers it that way, because that way we build a relationship with Krishna. When it's indirect, we don't see Krishna and we don't build that relationship with Krishna. He's eager for our relationship.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Prabhuji, for answering that.
Okay. I wanted to ask, so my computer science teacher, Mrs. Neera Dubey is here. Mrs. Dubey, is there something
Hello.
you would like to say? How are you? Long time.
Yes, I'm quite all right. I've not been well for some time, but I'm okay now.
Okay.
It's great to be listening to you right now, Prabhu.
No, please. I don't want to hear that from you. I'm your student always. But if anything is not making sense, since it's your first time here, feel free to ask.
Yes, certainly I will.
Okay.
I will.
Thank you so much.
Right now, I am enjoying the talk and the question and answer sessions thoroughly.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. Thank you for coming. All right. If there are no more questions, I'll move to the next verse. Somebody wants to read 8:15? Go ahead.
माम उक्तेय पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अस्वस्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्माना samsiddham paramanam kata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection.
Thank you, Indranath Prabhu. So this is very reassuring. So Krishna is saying, and it is not the first time he's saying it. He said this before also, right? Janma karma divyam jojanati tattvataha takta devam punar janmana vidyati. Like punar janma doesn't happen. If you understand my janma and karma, the reason for my appearance and my purpose in this world, then you do not take birth again. Again, in chapter 8, Krishna is saying that same thing, that one who, let's read this one more time, that after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion, so bhakti yogis, yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So one might think, oh God, what if I come back again here, after getting liberated and whatnot? Krishna is saying, no, 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 don't worry. Once you come to me, you will not go back, right? So again, those of you who are new here, so this is called the temporary, world of miseries, or material world, which is only a fraction of creation. It's just 1/4 of creation, right? 3/4 of creation is a spiritual world, where it's permanent. There is no death, there is no time, there is no old age, no disease. Just imagine a place where there is no time. That's what the spiritual world is. So Krishna is saying, once we leave this place and go to Krishna Loka or Goloka or Vaikuntha, over and out, we don't have to come back to this realm of miseries again. Permanently we are back, because so although we don't remember what happened here, so once we are in the spiritual world, we might not remember what happened here all our lives, hundreds and millions of lives that we have taken in this planet. But the point is, there is a sense of, oh, that's not a good place to be. That dark cloud over there, which is the material world, that's not a good place to be. I don't want to be there. I don't have a good feeling about it, right? That's how the souls feel. And those who have been to the material world and they come back, it's like having a nightmare, and you suddenly wake up and it's like, oh, that place was not, I don't have a good feeling about that place. So one doesn't come back here. So it's a permanent solution. So material problems, we can have temporary solutions. Like yesterday night, I got a shocking email from somebody which read something like this: sir, I met you 5 years ago at IIM Shillong, and today I want to end my life. I am sending you my message. So the last phone call I want with you. 9:30 I got this message, and I was like, holy Krishna, please help me, because I'm not qualified. I'm not a psychologist or whatever. I immediately called this person up, spoke to him. He was completely shattered. We spoke for a little bit of time, and then he was okay. Today morning again I spoke to make sure he's okay, and he is shining bright, like a fresh like a dark cloud has gone up and it's a fresh day for him. So he's okay. But the point is, it was so scary, what he was going through. And that's what the mind does to us. And and he is a devotee. I mean, he has been exposed to devotion. It's not like a devotee is chanting every day kind of devotee, but he has been exposed to Bhagavad Gita principles and everything. But he needed to be reminded of some of those things and how this process works. So similarly, even though we might know a lot of these things, sometimes we need to be reminded that this is temporary. You're going through a difficult period, yes, and it is temporary. It will also pass. Good times are coming. And know for a fact, once Corona goes away, something even worse will come, because this is Kali Yuga. It is meant to be this way. But you burn your karma as much as you can, and you stay under the protection of Krishna. And thereby, you'll be protected from all these hassles that one has to go through. So this person, the reason why he was attempting suicide is because he lost his job for 2 years, and financial crisis and whatnot, and he had to take care of his parents, and for him this was a permanent solution. And like, this is not a permanent solution, this is a temporary solution, because when you take another birth, let's say you end up doing what you're planning to do, if you take another birth, again this karma that's leading you to this problem will continue with you, and in your next life you'll again face that issue. It will not go away. So please understand, you need to burn your karma. That's the solution to the problem, not kill yourself, because the karma won't be gone. In fact, you'll have more karma for killing yourself, and you have to face that in your next life. And that won't be a very nice thing to do. And Kali Yuga would have progressed further, things would have deteriorated further, and you don't want that. Make this your last birth, and take care of things, take care of your devotional activities, your duties, take care of your parents, everything else, and go back home, back to Godhead when the time is right. And he understood, and he knew these things. It's not like it's new to him, but sometimes we need to be reminded that this is temporary. And I told him, look, this is a temporary thing. There are jobs outside Shillong. Let me connect you. So practical help was also there. But the other part was reminding him that these things don't stay for too long. Whether it's a pandemic or the economic crisis or whatever, India-Pakistan war or partition, if you go back in history, you'll always see there has been like devastating, world events, but they're never permanent. So when we go through hell, and I like this quote from Winston Churchill, when going through hell, just keep going, right? Till you reach the end of the tunnel. So when we go through difficult periods, it might feel like, oh God, it's never ending, but it will end and good times will come. And when good times are going, it is also temporary, bad times will come. So like that, there's always ups and downs, changing seasons, changing times. So Krishna's, that's why he's describing this place as a temporary world, which is full of miseries, right? Everything is temporary. Good things are temporary, bad things are temporary. Disease is temporary, old age is not temporary, but progressive, but temporary in the sense that we can take another birth, again young, again die, again, so everything is changing constantly. Whereas in Krishna Loka, like Krishna was always, even when he was 125 years old, during the battle of Kurukshetra, he was looking like a 16-year-old. He never changed from being youthful to being old. That's the spiritual nature. So if you go to the spiritual world, everybody looks ever youthful, fresh youth, nava yovanamcha. That's how it's described. All right. After attaining, okay. So Prabhupada is saying the supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Paramagati. In other words, the planet is beyond the material vision and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal and destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental message from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That's the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls. So that's the mood of a devotee, right? Devotee just wants Krishna's association. I want to play with Krishna, right? I want to be around where Krishna is. That's the attraction that a devotee has. Not everybody has that attraction. Why? Because we are materially contaminated. That's why, right? So it is said that when you have jaundice, you cannot taste sugar or anything sweet. Sweet things taste bitter. But if you take palm candy or sugar candy, slowly jaundice goes away, and then you can slowly start tasting the sweet things and whatnot. So that's the same thing with Krishna consciousness. Initially, like, oh, chanting Hare Krishna, it's so difficult. Okay, enough of this, and let me do something else. There's no attraction. But slowly, as we keep doing it and doing it and doing it, attraction develops because purification happens. Karma gets burnt out. With every devotional activity, we are cleaning up lifetimes worth of karma. And as karma is going away, the layers on the soul are being removed. And that soul that is purely spiritual, supremely spiritual, that purity comes out, and that soul is only attracted to Krishna. So you will see as we get purified through the acts of devotional practices, the more and more love for Krishna, attraction for Krishna develops. And that is not attraction for heaven, or I want to go to this planet or that planet, or I want to be rich or poor or beautiful or ugly. It is just attraction for God. And wherever he keeps, we are happy, right? Now, we might not experience it now, But as it happens in our life, we will see we're moving in that direction. Less attraction for Maya, more attraction for Krishna, right? That's how the process works. Initially, it's all about Maya and nothing about Krishna. Slowly, little bit about Krishna, lot on Maya. And slowly, slowly, this grows and this goes down. Sometimes this is growing, but suddenly this goes up. And there is like this way, that way, this way, that way. We balance it out, right? Which is okay. And then Krishna sends us some help. And boom, there is a massive growth in our spiritual life. Sometimes that can be a terrible thing. Sometimes that can be a good thing. And like, terrible thing in the sense like some death happens and suddenly we wake up. Oh my God, what did just happen? Oh, I should take my devotional life seriously. I could die any moment. Right? A reminder. Or it could be something like something great happened. I was struggling with something for too long and suddenly that's been resolved. I feel grateful. Krishna, I want to dedicate my life, now that those problems have been removed. It could be whatever. But we struggle, we go here and there. Krishna helps us. He gives us direction. Okay. Next. Somebody else read 816.
I'll read Prabhuji. Brahma bhuvanaloka punar avartinorjuna mam upetyatu kauteya punar janmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Krishna. Okay, so very important. Now Krishna is saying the highest planet of the material world, that is Brahmaloka, Swargaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, all these upper planetary systems. Then there is Bhumandala, us, and then there is Atala, Patala, Talatala, Sutala, Rasatala, all the Narak planets, the hellish planets below. Krishna is saying to the highest planet, to the lowest planet, it's all nonsense. It's all temporary. It's not worth aspiring for. Down to low, all place of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. So for us, our lifespan might be 100 years, 70, 80 years. So is the lifespan of Lord Brahma, right? He also lives for 100 years, but his 100 years is in our time, 311 trillion years. That's the difference. It's relative time. Lord Brahma's 100 years is much longer than ours. But still, in his planet, that's what time feels like. And that's what his lifespan is, 100 years. For demigods, for us, yeah, it's much more time dilation in the upper planetary systems. But for them, again, they're living till the lifespan of Lord Brahma. And then they come back and they have to read ABCD 1, 2, 3. That's the idea. So it is temporary and it is a place of miseries. Why miseries? So one might say, well, heavenly planet, there is a lot of fun activities, but there is all cursing and counter cursing also happens. You're suddenly son of Kubera, enjoying all your life riches. Suddenly you were turned into a tree. Now what do you do? Those kinds of miseries. So miseries are there. It's not like they don't have fights. They have fights also, right? The devatas and the demons, they're having their own tussles and whatnot. So it might be better life than ours, but still they have their problems. And we have our problems. And that is the design of the material world. Everybody has problems. Whether you're the richest person, poorest person, demigod, demon, doesn't matter. Everybody is struggling in this world. Birth, death, old age, disease. This is common amongst everyone, right? Birth, death, old age, disease. Brahma is middle-aged right now. Although they show him with a lot of beard and all, he's not that old. He's middle-aged. So like that, they all get old and eventually they also die. The demigods also die, right? They end their activities and they're born again as humans. Okay. Let me see. I'll pause and see if you have any questions so far.
Prabhuji, if somebody has good karma, so they go, let's say, go into the heavenly planets to basically burn off the good karma, right?
Redeem their good karma, not burn up.
Okay, so redeem the good karma. So in Kali Yuga, you said like we are like it says Dukhalaya Ashaswatam, right? So it's like always misery and always bad things happening. Does that burn our bad karma?
No, it's not burning a bad karma, it's redeeming a bad karma.
Okay, and we are by default doing karma itself, right?
Right, because as that is happening, we are creating new karma.
Hmm.
So when I say burning karma, that is nullifying karma, like literally bad or good, all goes away. So when you have no karma left, it's a clean slate, then you don't have to take birth again. If your destination is going back to Krishna, you go back to Krishna. Or your destination is go back to Lord Shiva, you go to Lord Shiva, or Brahma Jyoti, different destinations, but at least you get liberated if there's no karma. But as long as there's karma, you have to take birth to redeem it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we are every single second we are doing some bad karma, right?
We are
Going
redeeming,
unknown.
I'm not saying bad or good, but we're redeeming karma and we're creating new karma.
Okay, got it.
If you remember, karma, akarma, vikarma. Right? Karma is activities within the Vedic system. Akarma is Krishna conscious activities, those activities that are neither good nor bad, they are transcendental. And vikarma is acting against Vedic principles. They're really, really bad karma, like slaughterhouse, right? A systematic process for killing animals, right? So vikarma. So karma within the Vedic system, we are doing activities, good or bad. Who am I to judge? Who are you to judge? But activities are happening. So new karma is being created, old karma is being redeemed. That's how the process is going on. The idea is to neither create new karma and burn out the old karma. That's where we want to be, with the intention to go back to Krishna or whoever, whatever they worship, with intention for liberation.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments or anything you want to share, realization? Okay, cool. Then we'll read one more verse and we'll be done for the day. 8:17. Okay, who wants to read?
I'll read, Prabhuji. Sahasra yuga paryantam aharyat brahmano vidu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night.
Next verse.
Yes, Prabhuji. Avyaktad vyaktayaha sarvaha Prabantan ahar agame ratri agame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samajnake. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again.
Okay, thank you, Matish.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so by human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day. So remember the 311 trillion years I was talking about? That's where the calculation comes from. So now I'm going to get a little numerical here. Kali Yuga is supposed to be how long? Anybody remembers?
4,32,000.
4,32,000 years. Double of that, is Treta, Dwapar Yuga and then Treta Yuga. So total one Yuga cycle, that is Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, is around 3.6 million years. So here Krishna is saying that one day of Brahma is 1,000 Yuga cycles. So 1,000 multiplied by 3.6 million is one day of Brahma. One night of Brahma is also 1,000 Yoga cycles. That is what is being spoken here, right? By human calculation, 1,000 ages, 1,000 Yoga cycles. So here Prabhupada gives the duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma. And one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles or 4 yugas. or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yugas last 1,728,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and the yuga lasts 1,296,000 years. In Dwapar Yuga, so durations are given. So Kali Yuga is 432,000 years, and like that, we have only passed 5,000 years into Kali Yuga. So if we do the calculation, so if 1 day of Brahma is 3.6 million years, one Yuga cycle is 3.6 million years. 1 day is 1,000 multiplied by that. 1 night is 1,000 multiplied by that. Then you multiply that now to 100 years. So that's how it comes to 311 trillion years, which is Brahma's lifespan, right? That's how it's derived. So that's what Krishna is giving here, how to calculate that. And then the next verse, Krishna is stating, at the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifested state. So what happens, okay, so this is going to be a little esoteric, but so Lord Mahavishnu is lying, right? And all the souls are actually resting in the Lord, and the universes are in his pores, right? So Durga Devi, the Lord looks at Durga Devi through his vision, and the souls are transferred to Durga Devi. The impregnation happens, right? So that ray is Lord Shiva or Shambhu connecting with Durga Devi. That's what we see in the Shivlinga, right? That's the Shivlinga. It's the souls that are being impregnated into Durga Devi. And then the universes manifest, and as the universes manifest, Durga Devi manifests the souls. Lord Brahma progenites the entire universe with the help of the Daksha and other children of his. They're called the Prajapatis. So all the Prajapatis, they bring these souls into the 8.4 million species of life. And there are some who choose not to get married, like the 4 Kumaras. They are also children of Lord Brahma, but they're like, sorry, we don't want to be part of this. We just want to be on our own and focus on our devotional life. So the point is that these souls are in Shushupti stage or in sleeping stage in Lord Mahavishnu. When universe creation happens, they are brought into, so Lord Brahma is the first created being in the universe. He engineers all the planetary systems and everything else. Then Durga Devi brings in the souls to various manifestations, various planetary systems, and creation begins. And when Lord Brahma's end happens, universe is annihilated. Anantasesh burns down the entire universe, and Mahavishnu, the universes go back into his pores, and the souls go back into Shushupti stage, which is a deep sleep mode, if I may call it, to make things easier, right? So deep sleep to manifest it to deep sleep. Within that, so this is Lord Vishnu actually breathing. Mahavishnu is breathing. He's breathing out, universes come out. Breathing in, universe is annihilated. 311 trillion years over. So within that, we have the small human form of life, where 50, 60 years that we can chant Hare Krishna, study the Bhagavad Gita, and go back home, back to God. Cut out of this whole falling asleep, manifesting, suffering, struggling, old age, disease, going back to sleep again, and back and forth like that, right? That I hope that clarifies. Any questions? I might not be able to answer if you ask me too many deep questions, because these things are very, very complicated, but they're in 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. You can read them. Okay. Any burning questions? If none, we'll end it today.
Vijay.
Yes, go ahead, Pritesh.
So you said that there's a Susupti stage and there is a manifesting stage, right? Of the souls. And is that for the souls who like couldn't go to Vaikuntha or Goloka, or like,
correct?
So basically they transfer
they're in the cycle, they're in material world. And so those of us who are planning to go to Goloka, we don't have to go through that cycle again. We just cut through this and go back home, back to God.
Yeah, my question is like, are they like being transferred in Yuga cycles? So if somebody is at the end of Kali Yuga and couldn't go back to Godhead, he might have some karma left behind.
Correct.
and with that karma, the next they are taking birth in Satya Yuga.
Correct.
Okay.
It's a continuum.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Have a good night.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji, Dandapanam.
Hare Krishna.
Hey, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.